Hello everybody, it's your boy Mark here, and we're going to be hopping back into SC2VN. In the last episode, we watched the final match of the VSL tournament between Team Crash and Kai Northeast, and we saw Cell pretty much carry his team, even though they ended up losing 4-2. And he was the only person to score points, and then we learned about his team dynamic, not super great, and then Jet jumped to ask him to be our coach, and with some thinking, he agreed, and now we have a Cell as our team coach, and we're celebrating in a fun little bar. Looks like it's going to be a fun start to the episode, so let's hop into it. The bar that Jet had in mind was halfway across the city, though after a subway ride, it didn't take us much more than 30 minutes to arrive. The trendy-looking lounge is packed with 20-somethings, most of them older than even a Cell. Stunt walks ahead of us with a swagger, nothing with pride on the way over to our table as he has a fake ID and goes to bars all the time. With who? Your mom? With your mom, bitch? My mom is in the US though. Oh, her flight landed early? I can't help but laugh. That was funny. Stunt is incredibly immature even for his age, but there's something undeniably uplifting about his enthusiasm. With all the booths full, we pick out a table close to an empty dance floor. It's cramped with the 5 of us, but we make do. Man, I can't remember the last time I went out like this. Spent so much of this year cooped up in the Crash team house. Same. VIP's mandatory hours were brutal by Star 2 standards. No one even made good use of them. A scruffy waiter dressed no differently than the bar's patrons stopped by to take our drink orders before Stunt can return to bragging about his iron stomach. Jet shows 3 fingers for the number of soju bottles she wants. With a click of his tongue, the waiter departs with our order in hand. There's 5 of us though, Jet. You think I can't count? You don't drink soju from the bottle. Oh, well, I've never had it before. That is not a surprise. Soju is unpopular outside of Korea. We'll show you how to do it right, Mock. While awaiting the server's return, I noticed Cell glancing repeatedly in Reva's direction. Mock, what ended up happening with Reva? And who's our friend here? I am Reva, and allow me to say that it is a great pleasure to meet you in person. Your play has been an inspiration to me. Ooh. Oh, is Raven a Cell fangirl? She'd have been maybe 15 at the prime of his Brood War career. Well, a shame that these punks didn't have the decency to introduce us properly. It's nice to finally meet you, Reva. No lie, your mech is the best I've seen outside of VSL. You've got to show me your timings on your double armory build at some point. You too. I think you broke her. It's okay, Reva. I've been there. Reva managed to, mostly, pull herself out of the fangirl shock by the time our waiter returns. When he's gone, a Cell pours out a shot glass worth of soju and hands it to me. Ooh, that's a nice looking design. I like that. Go on, and 1 gulp. There isn't much liquid in the glass, so I throw it back without a second thought. It takes a few seconds for my taste buds to react. Ugh, this stuff is awful. It's all I can do not to retch. It's good. How does a guy learn Korean without coming across soju at least once? It's impressive, actually. I learned online, wasn't ever part of my lessons, I guess. That is one of the most difficult ways to learn a language. How did you manage? K-pop and StarCraft, they didn't offer Korean as a language option at my high school, so I studied in my spare time. K-pop? Disgusting. I knew you were Korea boo scum. At least I did something useful with my dumb hobbies. Can you say the same? How's your English? Hello, I am Stunt. Protoss. I am 1. Very bad. Used two names to help, and said lies. Bad student and player needs to work harder. Reva asked for my approval with a look. I give it with a nod. Bad what? What'd she say, Mock? Bad luck. You were almost perfect. Ha! I knew it. I'm a natural. I pour out a shot for a cell, relieved when the culture test is over. Jet's 3 bottles are soon emptied and then replaced. The soju-fueled conversation range from StarCraft and team houses to fashion in college. Whatever else in between. You 3 are so lucky. Korean guys drop out of 2 golden years on the military. It's totally unfair. Tell him, Cell. Stunt points at Jet, me, then Reva. Neither of them seem particularly ruffled. Cell only watches, slightly drunk and highly entertained. I would gladly spend 2 years in our military to reap the benefits of your gender. Seriously, do you have any idea how uncomfortable being pressured into some brain-dead photo shoot with a pink keyboard is? Smile, Agachi. Headphones don't sell themselves, you know. Why don't you lose the team jacket and pull down the shirt a bit? Oh, I want to see you with double eyelids next time. It's just like that. It's literally the worst. Dear God, Jet, please, never do that again. Sponsors pay you to sit in front of a camera. How terrible. Don't tell me that there aren't advantages for girls in esports. It's so much easier to get on a team, and you get way more fans. You cannot understand without experiencing it firsthand, so you can only see the good. Come on, Mock, back me up here. I'm gonna say the right. There's probably a ton of harassment with it if it's anything like America. It's hard for everyone to stunt, but you have to admit that girls trying to make it in esports have to worry about things that guys don't give a second thought. Psh, like, when I was an amateur in Brood War, some gross KPGA pen pusher said he'd help me get my pro license if I spent the night at his place. I had just turned 17. All of our eyes shift to Jet, surprised, though stunts of most of all. I take a moment to silently appreciate that StarCraft 2 doesn't require a pro license to play in Star Leagues. Did you do it? No! What the hell is wrong with you? Jet snatches her glass off the table and snaps her arm back. The stunt recoils and shrinks beneath the table. She returns her drink to her lips with a satisfied smirk. Is it a crime to wonder? Marcel drops his fist at the table with a thump, ending the argument and earning our attention. We're going to play a drinking game. Why? Why? Because we were about to condemn ourselves to lives of timing attacks, hard contains, and positional play. You've got one night to get hammered, and we're going to make the most of it. You've convinced me. What do you want to play? Oh, let's play the King's Game. Shut up. The King's Game is for desperate teenagers. She glances over a stunt and offers a smile to make her point. Nah, chopsticks. It's really simple. I say something that we might describe one of us more than the others, and we point out who we think what's said describes the best. I don't follow. Okay, it's like this. Which of us is most likely to hate soju? Cell takes the chopstick from the table and points at me, as do Jet, Reva, and Stunt. And then you drink, but we won't count that one. Oh, that makes sense. Why don't you start us off with a few? Let's see. No, that's too mostly end up in NEET. 4 chopsticks immediately fall onto Reva. One of her sticks slips out from in between her fingers and onto the floor. Me? Come on, you give off a powerful shut-in vibe. I do not understand. You're doing it right now. It's like you learned how to communicate from a text-to-speech program. Reva, what do you do besides games and esports? Do you have any hobbies? I watch anime. Anything else? See? Jet is doing her best to keep from piling on, but the urge is evident on her face. But I have StarCraft, so I cannot be an NEET. That would be considered employment. Sure, but the question was who was most likely. If you washed out of professional gaming, I could totally see you as an MMO addict. I have max level characters in the most popular 3, but what does not qualify me as an addict on its own? But that does not qualify me as an addict on its own. God, how? Those games are disgustingly grindy. You really aren't helping your case. Okay, the answer is, what StarCraft community site do you read and post on the most? It is an image board. Drink Reva. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say worst fans. Which of us has the worst fans? It's not like anyone but Estelle and I can even. Jet's train of thought shatters when she knows 4 chopsticks are pointed in her direction. I mean, yeah, you're talking about how hard it was to be a woman in esports. What? Defiantly, Jet aims her own at Estelle. He merely grins in response. Be honest, when was the last time you had a meet and greet session where a fanboy didn't slobber all over you? Your brusque attitude attracts a certain type of fan, Jet. What's that supposed to mean? It means they like it when you call someone trash. Come on, you're the one that gives all those blunt pre-game interviews. I simply say what's on my mind. If that happens to be how confident I am, then so what? What does that have to do with my fans? Let's put it like this. Reva, what would you say to the crowd before a big finals match? I would like to thank my fans for cheering for me. I have worked hard to improve my condition and will send my opponent to Andromeda. I promise to show you good games. Nice. So you'll get earnest supporters that love to see you do well. But Jet, your fans want you to lose almost as much as they want you to win. That's absurd. People that cheer for my losses aren't my fans. Whatever you want to call them, they're yours and yours alone. Don't pretend like you don't know what they're talking about. I have plenty of nice and well-intentioned fans. You're just focusing on the minority of terrible ones. Oh, like the guy who brought you a body pillow with your picture to autograph a session? How could I forget? Jess' expression flashes a mixture of anger and embarrassment. She looks ready to throw a punch. God damn it, Estelle. I told you about that in confidence. If any of you ever bring this up again, you die. I kind of want to poke and prod a little bit. You know what I mean? Especially since we did that with Reva. So I think we haven't poked at me that much, or Estelle, so I'm gonna indulge my curiosity. Bad idea, don't do this in real life, but this is a video game, it's relatively safe. Did you sign it? Without consciously realizing it, I find myself dodging something. Jet's shot glass whizzes past my head and shatters on the wall behind me. From across the room, a few of the bar's patrons laugh drunkenly at the absurdity. She reaches for another, apparently intent on making sure she gets her point across. I'm left with no choice but to raise my hands in surrender. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. She sets the glass down and looks away from the rest of us, still hot-faced from the negative attention. Alright, these are not great ones. I guess we're gonna have to go there. Most likely to bang a fan. Which of us is most likely to bang a fan? Pushing right out of the gate, are we? You're supposed to do a few more warm-up questions before you get to the raunchy stuff. You say that only because you know you're going to lose this one. Despite finding himself staring down at the 4 pairs of chopsticks, Sal never loses his easygoing smile. I'll free to admit it, I've sat with my fans before. The question is more like winning than losing anyway, since I'm not a leech. Do you have a story to go along with it? Pretty much what you would expect. One girl used to show up to all my Brood War matches. She cheered for me, brought gifts, and led the fan chants. Managed my fan club too. I was knocked out of the Star League pretty early a few years back. She's the only person that showed up to meet and greet afterwards. I asked her if she would like to go to dinner. She said yes. I went from there. We dated for more than a year. Had to break it off when she went abroad for university. Ah, now you got me feeling nostalgic. Thanks, Mark. What a beautiful story. It's hard to tell if the complete lack of emotion in Rava's voice is intentional. Oh, what a beautiful story. I know those kinds of fans. They're always like, oh, well, I imagine him practicing all day. My heart aches, and I want to make him hot soups. Literally, no one has or ever will say that.
They're gonna be saying it when I take my place as the Protospona. Can't wait to have my legion of loyal fangirls called stunts.
A well-timed hiccup stops Stun in his tracks. He laughs obnoxiously when his head hits the table. Someone could really confiscate this kid's fake. Alright. This one's probably... It's either me or Sal. It's probably me. Which of us is most likely still a virgin? Before you can even react, Jet and Estelle and I point our chopsticks in Stunt's direction. Yeah, he seems desperate. In his seat, aghast. His senses weaken and Rava aims his answer towards her, only to have her repay the favor. This is bullshit. Calm down, you're like what, 12? You guys have no idea. I'm a player, you hear me? Oh my gosh. Doubtful. You were hanging out with middle schoolers at PC Bang when I found you. Be honest with us. Stut scrunches up his face, allowing his face rage to stew momentarily before bursting out with another protest. This is a rigged question. You all guys have at least 4 years of extra time to luck out. Virginity confirmed. Drink. Oh, cut the kid some slack. It'd be kind of weird if he wasn't. Breach of trust, ethically unsound, harassment on an unreasonable scale. He makes a box on the table with his finger, continuing his exaggerated, antiquated protest all the while. This is no bullying area. If you enter DMZ, I will retaliate with full force. We finish our game of chopsticks with a slew of highly inappropriate questions and equally bold answers. I like soju way more in my stomach than on my lips, though I'm not sure how I'll feel the same way in the morning. Our celebration goes late into the night, long enough that we're practically the only patrons left. A tendril of drool collects at the corner of an unconscious Stunt's lips. Rava's eyes are unfocused behind her glasses. But while there's a bit extra to Sel's typical grin, both he and Jet look as collected as ever. Dude, it's late. Sel pulls the phone out of Stunt's pocket and checks the time. Oh, it is. He then replaces the expensive-looking electronic on the young Protoss player's head. Jet, next time you travel for a European tournament, make sure you show up to the after-party. Say what you will about their play, but those guys know how to have a good time. Pass. I go for easy prize money, not discotheque and with Lars and Jorgen. You guys ready to leave? Yeah, should, if we don't want to wake up after noon. This is the worst part of every night out. How the hell are we supposed to get sent home? Don't forget, Jet, the bill is all yours. Why'd you remind me? I can hail a cab for Stun, I guess. Thank you for treating us to dinner, Jet. Now there's a Terran player that knows how to man her up. It's probably because she can play Zerg. Take note, boys. Rava, are you alright? Need any help getting home? Oh, I would not mind assisting you. Denied. You're on your own, Mach. Need to talk team business with Rava. Oh, right then. I'm out. Stuff to do. Later, team. Kid, wake up. I'm taking you home. What? I raise myself, and after pocketing Stun's phone off his head, heave him onto his feet. He's light, which makes the effort easier than I was expecting. Jet calls after me as we go. Don't dump in an alley. We need a Protoss. Yeah. I practically carry Stun outside, offering the bar's patrons and a staff a shameless smile while I make my way through the doorway. Doesn't take much effort to hail a cab and pitch the underage drinker inside. Once I've made room for myself, I climb in and close the door. I wake to the taste of stale soju on my breath. My apartment is mostly dark, save the crack of light coming through my window. Right there. It takes a great deal of effort to dredge myself out of bed, but a need to rinse my mouth is enough motivation. First time if I ever drank too much, I swore to myself I'd never touch alcohol again. Even if that was a pledge, I knew that I wouldn't keep. It seems like I won't get another chance for a while now. Well, at least until there's a trophy in our team house. Okay, so that was a fun little episode celebrating with the new team, especially with Sal as their new coach and stuff like that. Interesting group dynamics and information exchanged. And I don't know, that was kind of fun. So I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Toodles!